you could just turn this into a Steam Deck with more compatibility and ignore Microsoft Store, Game Pass, all that crap.
Right.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's amazing.
Well, why don't we transition to the next story here, because we're talking about the kind of people who play these PC handheld devices.
Apparently, there's 2.3 million of them
coming this year,
2025.
Yep.
How does that sound? Where have we been at previously?
So that last year they sold 1.7 million units. The Steam Deck in its first couple of years sold over 3 million, according to what Valve said. This is really low compared to like the Switch 2 or even the Switch 1 or even the PS Portal.
Right.
However, I do see this as the next big market and where video game hardware all goes eventually. Like, I think all these systems are going to turn into Switches eventually, or PC handhelds. I think the big difference is there's two humps and hurdles they need to get over. And I feel like Valve and Microsoft are both doing things to get over the first hurdle, which is these are very kind of a pain in the ass to use. They're not as nearly as much of a pain in the ass as they were when they first started coming out in 2022, 2023. In fact, if you're willing to just have Steam Deck HQ or Proton DB loaded up on your phone to look up games, Steam Deck is arguably easier to use than most consoles. It is a straight up console UI. It's great. It's just that you have to be aware of looking up what games are compatible, and if they aren't compatible, what happens.
But that's the thing. I have to know what that is, and I have to do that. Whereas what Microsoft is doing, what they're trying to solve right now,
attempting. I'm going to put attempting on that. By the way,
is making it so you can just boot the thing up, and if there is a game you see on it, you can play it. That's supposed to be the idea. Because that's the big problem with Steam Deck right now, is that if you buy a Steam Deck, you will probably at one point find yourself really pissed off that something's not working.
Yes, and I think that is the case with the Windows handhelds, just in a different way. Because I think that Steam did some very smart things in terms of I think the Deck verified system is a lot better than Microsoft's performance check. Deck verified is definitely not perfect. It has definitely said, hey, we haven't tested this yet, or it's not playable when it totally is. Or we'll say this is totally playable, and they're technically right until you get to Act 3 of Baldur's Gate 3, and the frame rate plummets to the mid-20s.
Right.
So I think that, and I know Microsoft's got the exact same issues, like Gears of War Reloaded is not out yet, but if you go on the store, they should be able to tell me if that can run on my computer. They can't. They say performance check not available. And that's a first party game, dude, that you own.
Right.
And you can't tell me if it's gonna run on this fucking machine.
Yeah.
What? It's out in 2 days. It's not like it's some game that's out in a year. So I think that this is a problem for everyone. I think Microsoft just has the least problems in solving it just due to Windows compatibility. But then they get another fun problem that all of these are going to have as well, which is at the end of the day, these are still handhelds, and there's going to be limitations on performance. So what happens when you boot up a game, what's a game, like Indiana Jones on a handheld? It's probably going to run not super great, regardless.
I think that, honestly, their entire approach is just going to be that you're gonna get a little icon. Like, I don't think it's even gonna be a tag in the game. I think that when you're on the Microsoft Store on your ROG Ally, you're gonna have a little icon on the box of the game. You know, the little square that says handheld optimized, or shows a little ROG Ally icon to show that it's handheld optimized, and that you're probably gonna just be safe to play most of those games. And that's they're gonna try and just take the advantage that you know, the console market has over the PC market of smooth interactability, and move that into this existing market that has the problem the PC market has of not smooth interactability.
And I think that Valve has done that, and it is still had a lot of issues. Like, it's because that's exactly what Valve did. Because like when you put up a Steam Deck, it'll say these games pass all the compatibility checks and it's great on deck, and they have a whole category on the store called great on deck, and here are the games that run and play well on a Steam Deck. And then they have it is playable, and they'll tell you what the issues are. Sometimes those issues are not a big deal, and they should be listed as great on deck. You know, and then they have either unverified or unplayable. That's typically like Battlefield 6 is going to be unplayable because it has this really shitty like anti-cheat problem. You know, like that's just what it is. And versus a game like Arkham Asylum, which is totally playable on a Steam Deck, but it says unplayable because of something in its settings that Valve is just like, oh, I don't know about this thing, man.
Yeah, I think this just isn't a push from like I don't think they're literally solving the problem. I think it's a marketing. It's a marketing concept. It's that they're gonna the perception to the consumer is going to be, here's the version of a handheld for PC games that works like all the time. That's what they're going to be pushing it as. Is it going to be that? No, it's almost certainly going to be almost exactly as effective as a Steam Deck. Like, the Steam Deck is engaging with the market to the best of the market's extent already, right? This is just going to be an updated version of what the you know, production capability already is, it just being done by Microsoft.
And I think that one is probably going to be worse because their performance check system is bad. Valve's is not perfect by any fucking means, but if you were to follow that, it would mostly work fine. You know, like, I would still recommend going to Steam Deck HQ or Proton DB, but if you were to follow that, it would mostly be fine. I believe if you follow the Microsoft one, it will mostly be fine. But I also think that, like the Steam one, it's going to run into hiccups, and Xbox already has enough bad blood and bad will right now that it's just going to piss a lot of people off.
Yeah,
like, it's going to piss a lot of people off.
I can see the push being really successful, though, if honestly you just got to make it hard to install games that aren't good for your ROG Ally, right? Like, just make them less visible. The Steam Deck, you have access to Steam, and it tells you, sure, but like, at the end of the day, if you want to install a game, you know what it is, you're going to go to it. If the ROG Ally just makes it kind of annoying to go and install stuff that isn't good for it, most people are going to end up avoiding it because they're like, oh, I have to go to the other section. If they just make the visibility lower, it could be a huge advantage to them in consumer perception.
And I think the Steam Deck, like, if you try to install something that is listed as unplayable or not for deck, you know, it warns you. It says, yo, dog, this isn't for deck. Yo, dog, you sure it isn't for deck? And you're like, yes, and then it installs. You know, and it's, you know, and I get it. I think that, but yeah, and I think that what you just mentioned is probably the best solution here of like, yeah, this will probably run like ass on this handheld, dog. And you are in the wrong section of this store. I also think that they are promoting, hey, you can use other stores on this device. You can install Steam and Epic Game Store.
Nobody's gonna do that.
I think that there's going to be people who do that because Steam has such a sterling reputation, and that's going to lead to some fucking battle.
You can't download the anime porn games on the Xbox store. You have to go to Steam for that.
If you want the anime porn games, you need with the pretty anime ladies. You need to go to Steam.
You need to go to Steam for that. So that's why people install Steam on their ROG Ally.
Sitting at the bus stop in an Ahegao hoodie and having your porn game on your Steam Deck. That's just max degeneracy. You need to.
There you go. That's the future I want to live.
I'll take it at this point.
But yeah, so that's the first hurdle. And the other big hurdle, Microsoft, I feel, is not solving at all of these things. Outside of the Steam Deck, all of these things are really goddamn expensive. These are really expensive. I think that if you can get a Steam Deck, the cheapest one I believe is $400. And if you are willing to wait for them to get a bunch of refurbs in stock, which Valve's refurb program is great, I would absolutely trust a Valve refurb. You can get them as low as $320, $280 if you're willing to install your own storage. So you can get the deck is trying to give you very affordable options versus the rest of these things start at $500. And that's where they start,
right?
And you're looking at this Ally X, which the Ally X is the one I'd be interested in. That's $900. And I have seen the regular ROG Ally, the original, go on sale for as low as $500. But yeah, you look at the Legion Go, you can get a Legion Go right now, $600, $830, $730, $600. The MSI Claw 8, the one with the Z2 Extreme as well, $900. The Claw 8 Plus, $1,000. So yeah, dog, it's price is a factor with these, and that is one thing I think that Valve has understood is this thing is not going to be as powerful, but you can also buy one for $400. If you want to buy one new.
My final conclusion on my take on the handheld market.
Yes.
I don't care, and I play my Switch in docked mode exclusively.
Do you not play handhelds at all?
No, I got my 3DS for that.
Rocking the 3DS still. Good on you. Someone's got it.
I feel like your 3D market is those. I feel like the 3D market for you is the analog pocket people, the fucking the people who make. Oh, hey, we made a Game Boy Advanced SP and gave it a backlit screen and a super powerful processor so it can play PS1 games now and N64 games. That's fair. Those are cool. I like those. I nearly bought a bunch of them.
Last game I played on handheld was Pokemon Yellow.
Yeah. Okay.
Good stuff.
I highly encourage you to look up Analog Pocket. You're going to be a fan.
I am familiar.
Yes, it looks good. I think it'll be interesting. PC gaming handhelds I think will grow, but I think it's going to have to be all right, the next series of consoles are handhelds that can be docked.
Yep. Pretty much.
And I think that is. I think that's a third issue is all of these when you hook them to a dock scale like garbage.
Great. They
all scale like trash. Because you're trying to run a native and whatnot. Nah, dog. It's so yeah, that's something I would also say is you need to fix the docking scaling issue. But I don't know. I love these things. I have, especially with my new setup. I love the setup I have here, where I will be playing a game on my PC, something like Persona 3 Reload or South Park: The Stick of Truth, be having a great time. And then because the way my setup is made, I can flip it over to the TV if I want on the big screen, or like if I'm, playing a game, go do a bunch of stuff for the day, wind down for bed, I can take out my Steam Deck and pick up that same game in the bedroom night before bed. It's awesome.
Sure.
It's fucking great.
We will continue watching the PC gaming handheld space with great interest.
Yep. Yes.
The years go
I
on.
like I said, I think this shit is gonna explode. It's just a matter of
You need to get it right.
It's a matter of fixing those two problems, and I feel like Valve is so goddamn close. Like I really do. And in the meantime, I think the Switch is going to continue to be the dominant force in that area.
Yeah.
So,
speaking of Nintendo,
dominant forces in Nintendo.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Look
we have
at
the same
that.
transition. We have the same transition. I think you guys will be excited about Metroid Prime 4 being rated by the ESRB.
Which
Sounds
means we are
fun.
that much closer to a release.